Good morning, people. It's your man Joshua Pondexter. Happy Friday. Uh, praise the Most High God. We have made it through almost through another week. So it's Friday. The eagle flies. People getting paid, getting ready for the weekend. So you can have them house parties. Invite friends over. You can barbecue. You can celebrate another week. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. Those days are gone. Inflation has killed a lot of that activity. Yeah, no more celebrating. Inflation is wearing us out, right? We barely got enough money to get through the week. And hey, if you do, you're making $250,000 a year and you're a single person, right? So, but as average folks, we're catching it, right? But anyway, this topic is about LLC versus C corporation. A lot of my ideas, a lot of my thoughts come from you, my clients, people that I talk to, um, people that are having concerns, and a lot of them are farther along in their business, and then they realize they selected the wrong structure. Only thing they were thinking about was consequences, right? So, of course, LLC, limited liability company, S, um, well, I got C corporation up there, but we're talking about S corporation. So, compared to a C corporation or S corporation. So a C corporation is your corporation, right? And a standard corporation. And then, of course, the S corporation is you can make a C corporation, the S corporation with it's a subchapter S, right? So basically, all you're doing is making a C corporation look like a S corporation for tax purposes with the IRS. The LLC is already a pass through corporation. So, why would you start up with a C corporation or S corporation? Well, one of the reasons that you would start up is because you started with the thought in mind that I'm taking on investors and I want to go public. I want to get big. So I want to scale. But if you started your company small, limited liability corporation is the way to go because an LLC, year one, year three, if you need to change um, the way that it's taxed with the Internal Revenue Service, you can switch it to a C corporation or S corporation. That's one of the powers and flexibilities of an LLC as opposed to a C corporation or S corporation. But what we want to talk about starting correctly. Starting in mind, when you start a business, you should think about the things that are a threat to your business. Lawsuits, the IRS, if you get audited and you hadn't been keeping great books. So these are two major threats to your company, to your business, right? So this conversation is not about tax strategies or anything of that nature, but if you do get a C corporation or S corporation, give up a lot of that self-employment tax strategies that's available to a startup company, right? So once again, that's the difference. But let's look at the legal ramification for an LLC versus a corporation or S corporation, depending on if you want to turn that into that. So, okay, here's the deal. Start your company and you get sued. You in an LLC. Or you in limited liability company. So your company liability is limited. Your legal exposure is limited to the company, right? So with LLC, the difference legally from a corporation or S corporation, the LLC has a corporate veil. The corporation has a corporate veil, but also the LLC has something called charging orders. So what's the difference? Well, the corporate veil protects you from activities, business activity that you might injure someone, not intentionally or maliciously, but these things happen and you get sued. So the corporate veil protects you from making a run on the company. The LLC with the charging orders also protect you from outside activity. So this has nothing to do with your company. So you were out enjoying the evening with your spouse, your significant others. You have a car accident, vehicular homicide, you kill somebody with your car. Now they're going to make a run on your personal stuff and they're going to try to get your company. But the charging order prevents them from charging all of your assets or making a run on your company. So that's a distinct difference when we're talking about asset protection with an LLC and a C corporation or an S corporation, right? So when you start up, I always recommend that my clients start with an LLC because they got that redundant assets protection, both the corporate veil and the charging orders, right? So now, anytime in the future, year 1, year 2, year 3, they can begin to change that to look like a C corporation or S corporation with the Internal Revenue Service. So why would you want to do that? Because, hey, you're starting to make some revenue. So in the first, 5 years, you might just be getting through. So you want all those self-employment deductions to come down to you and prevent you paying unnecessary taxes. So when it's not a tax conversation, it's totally the difference, right? So here's what you want to start. So we're keeping in mind that we're talking about protecting a company from lawsuits, from audits that either one could end our LLC or our corporation, right? So a lot of people since the pandemic have started their own businesses, right? There was a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that was published in 1997, right? My only takeaway from that book, which there's a lot, but my major takeaway was mind your own business. Start your own business part-time when you're working for someone else, right? We realized that during the pandemic, it's best to have multiple streams of income. And if you create a second stream of income, create it through a business, right? And let's lot of advantages to that. So we started doing that. Started doing that DIY. Go grabbing an LLC, an EIN number, and a bank account. Totally not compliant, right? Corporate veil is going to get pierced in that structure because if you keep operating like that, serious problem. So here's the skinny. You need a corporate package, right? That's one of my new companies, Pondexter Construction LLC. It's a green company. We started this about a year ago. We are getting into the green space where we're going to do charging stations, install them in your home, and we're going to do solar panels, right? So in your corporate package, what do you have, right? So, good place to keep your records of your organization, of your LLC, your EIN number, right? You got to issue yourself stock to show that you own this company, right? So If those are some fundamental pieces. If you ever get audited or you ever go get a lawsuit, these are the things that the IRS are going to ask for and the opposing counsel going to ask for. They're going to say, well, where are these things? Well, I don't have them. Also, well, you need a bank account, all right? Also, with an LLC, you need an operating agreement, a robust operating agreement, right? That tells you how you're going to operate this company, right? So if you're a single member, you need at least 30 pages of structure of how you got this company structured. Also, you need to keep, you can't see that, minutes, right? All the major activities that happens in the company, you need to be documenting those things, right? So once again, in your corporate package, you're printed out from your state, your LLC, or your corporation structure, right? The show that is in your corporate files, the EIN number from the IRS in there, stock. You issue yourself a piece of stock. You have an operating agreement for LLC. If it's a corporation, you have bylaws, right? And then you are keeping minutes of all your major activities, right? So now you got a nice little old corporate package where you can keep all your stuff, right? And of course, JoshuaPondexter.com. This is what we provide our clients with, this package, right? So now you started your company, so you want to start it, you want to audit proof it, and you want to, think about getting sued, because two things are going to happen when you start a business, right? You're going to get sued, and you're going to lose some money. That's the guarantee. Other things that can happen, you can get regulated out of the business by the government. So that can happen. You're going to get sued. You're going to lose some money. And you get regulated out of business. Well, I'm not going to get sued. Well, the typical American, that's not even a business owner, is going to be involved in 3 to 4 lawsuits in their lifetime, right? So how is that? Well, when you have a car accident, that's a lawsuit, right? You get divorced, that's a lawsuit, right? So if you've been divorced 2 or 3 times, that's a lawsuit. You've been in 2 or 3 accidents, those are lawsuits, right? So you need to protect yourself. So this is what you need to prepare your company for, the event of a lawsuit, right? Because the opposing counsel is going to ask for your corporate package, right? But what you did, you went to your state, got an LLC, went got an EIN number, went got a bank account. There's a theory of law called alter ego, and you could be operating that business as your alter ego and get your corporate veil pierced. So please do it right. Get a professional that can sit down and not only think about the tax ramifications of how I am going to utilize this wonderful business to reduce my tax liability 50 to 70%. Bang, that's beautiful. But you need to be thinking about how do I protect myself? What's the best structure to protect myself from lawsuits? That's the LLC. LLC has the corporate veil and the charging orders. Double protection, right? The charging order protect you from activities you do outside your business. Corporate veil protect you from activities you do within your business, right? Within, without, right? Corporations don't have that, right? There's only, I think, 2 states that have charging orders for corporations, right? And I should have wrote that down, but I think one of them is Nevada. So I don't know for certain, right? So, hey, LLC is the way to go. So here's the deal. You DIY people, do it yourself, is the most dangerous three words in the business language if you don't know what you're doing, right? So you went and got that LLC, went and got that EIN, went and got that bank account. So the first thing you do before you get a bank account, get your LLC, EIN, you have a meeting with the owners of the company to determine who's going to represent your corporation. That's a corporate decision. That's not your decision. That must be set. Can you change the type of ownership even if you already establish it? Okay, we got a question coming here. Okay, great question, Salam. So if you have an LLC, okay, and as we stated earlier, the beautiful thing about the LLC, and this is the only one that you can change, is that year 1, year 3, year 5, that LLC, you can have it taxed from the IRS as a corporation or a C Corp or S Corp, right? Now, if you set up a corporation and have it a C Corp or S Corp, it is an excruciating process to go and change all that, right? Because it must be changed at the state level and it must be changed at the federal level. So this is why it's important to start out correctly. Good questions. One is seamless, one is more painful, right? So what you want? You want the pain or you want the seamless route, right? Appreciate the question, sir. So, hey, LLC, I'm bullish on the LLC. One of the reasons is because you start as an LLC, you get all those wonderful deductions from startup perspective or self-employment deductions. You get rid of a lot of those when you put that in a C corporation and S corporation, because a lot of people talking about, what about the self-employment tax? It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So, but with LLC, year 1, year 2, my 3rd year, I'm making over $100,000 of revenue. And so now I want to have employees or I want to bring on other investors. Then I can change my LLC to look like a C corporation or S corporation, whichever one is beneficial for me. But trust me, when you start your company, you want to start it out from a perspective, not only from considering the tax perspective, but audit and legal. Once again, you need a corporate package, right? Because if you get audited, that's what the auditor is going to ask you for. Let me see your corporate package. Let me see your organization papers or your incorporation papers. You got your EIN? Did you issue yourself some stocks? Are you keeping minutes? Do you have an operating agreement for LLC? Do you have your bylaws for a corporation, right? And most people do not, right? Ran up on that problem with that PPP loan. People were making those paperwork up because they had not did them in advance. They didn't have any stock certificate. They didn't have operating agreements for the businesses, right? Unless they was talking about, a sole proprietorship, right? They would send them LLC or corporation. Then it was asking you to upload those documents, right? So very, very important. When you start your business, by all means, please consider the legal and the IRS perspective, right? So from a legal perspective, you want to operate that business and keep it compliant so you can protect your corporate veil. And so what's compliant? Compliant is always being in good standing with the state, is always keeping minutes, right? Always when you sign contracts, you never sign it Joshua Pondexter. Stone is to sign the contract is Stone Consultant LLC, which is my business. Joshua Pondexter as the officer, of the business, right? Because if you sign it as a personal person, you open up liability to yourself, right? So you are building a business. You are building personal assets, right? So you want to protect these things. All right. So once again, JoshuaPondexter.com. We get you on the square, right? And I know that 90% of all the people that I talk to that have started their companies start them off wrong. They go to LegalZoom or some other type of service that do the document preparation with no conversation with a professional to tell you what's the best entity, to walk you through the process. What do you plan on doing? Do you plan on selling the company? Do you plan on going public? Or what's your intention with this organization? So once we find out what your intentions are, where you going, then we come back and say what's the best structure. And I'm always going to say LLC, unless you got a bunch of investors sitting out there to pour some money in, then that could be a C corporation all the way. So listen, that's what it is. LLC versus a C corporation, or a C corporation you have made S corporation, so it could be a pass-through organization, so it could look like an LLC. Wow, the hassle. LLC, start there. Once again, over and over again, I'm going to repeat this until I cannot, is that LLC can switch, not with the state, but with the federal government, to be taxed as a corporation or S corporation. I said, well, I want to start giving myself a salary. I want to start doing all these wonderful things. You can pay yourself in the LLC, right? The limit. So I'm not going to make this a tax conversation. There's plenty of my videos up on YouTube talking about the benefits of the tax structure of LLC, the shortfalls of the tax implication in the S corporation. All right. So there you have it, people. We appreciate you tuning in. Go to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, share. We got over 100 and about 160 videos up there on financial literacy, different topics from estate planning to retirement planning to how to build credit in your EIN number only. So we have a plethora of topics up there that we discuss. Appreciate you for always tuning in. This is Friday. Go enjoy yourself. Always in departing, like my man Don Cornelius would say, we wish you love, peace, and soul. So we'll see you the next time. Bye for now.